Welcome to Cooking Cheap, Easy, and Tasty Meals. Today we're going to start a new series on making things with simple ingredients. To start with, we're going to add 1 cup of warm milk and 1 egg and a 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're going to mix all that up, get that mixed together. Then we're going to add some yeast because we're going to make milk bread. And we're going to do it using a no-knead technique that will keep us from having to spend a lot of time kneading the bread. We're going to use a simple technique that will make that go easy. So the next thing we have to add is 2 1/4 teaspoons of instant yeast. There's 2 1/4. Okay, so we added 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast into the warm milk, sugar, and egg mixture, and we're going to let it dissolve for a few minutes. Now we're going to add 3 cups of flour, okay, there's 3 cups of flour. And now we're going to stir it until we form a shaggy dough. All I'm doing is turning it over and over, scraping the sides, just trying to let it mix. I'm not doing more than just mixing the milk in with the flour to try and hydrate the flour. Takes a little while, but generally the flour will come together with the milk really quickly. And we will have a nice shaggy dough. Now, you want to make sure you check underneath and make sure you're getting the flour that's underneath the mixture. They're not leaving anything unturned under there. So turn it over a couple times. All right. Now, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to roll it around a little bit and get it into a ball. And then I'm just going to leave it alone and cover it and give it about 20 minutes to rest. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to do some folds. We're not going to knead it, but I am going to do some folds. And folding helps stretch it out a little bit and helps the gluten form. We're going to cover it with a clean tea towel and we're going to leave it alone for about half an hour. Let's give it half an hour. Okay, it's been about half an hour, so we're going to move on to the next step. You can see it's coming together quite nicely. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we'll pour a 1/4 cup of butter. Now, you may notice that I didn't add any salt to this mixture. That's because I'm going to go ahead and use salted butter rather than unsalted butter. The next step is to incorporate the butter into the dough. I wet my hands to make it a little easier to work with, and I'm just going to keep rolling this around until the butter is fully incorporated into this dough. It won't take but a little while. That appears to have, most of it, if not all of it, has been incorporated into it. I'm going to pull this around and try and make this a smooth loaf. Then I'm going to cover it after I wash my hands and let it sit for another 20 or 30 minutes. And at that point, we will move to the next step. Again, nothing in this is difficult. Okay, we're ready for the next step. We're going to take this and we're going to pull it and fold it 12 times. Probably do it more than that. That looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and lay it out. You could roll it out if you want, but I am just going to lay it here like this next to the pan that I want to put it in. See if I can get it about the right size. And then I'm going to roll it like this. This is going to be a really rough loaf, which is what I was shooting for. Now I sprayed this pan with Pam. I'm going to try and get this to even out in here. And I'm going to cover this again and let it rise for about 40 minutes. It's been about 40 minutes and look at this. What a beautiful loaf of bread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little butter on top and then we'll throw it in the oven and we'll see what happens. The oven is already up to 350. I've got a few bubbles in here. It's going to be interesting to see how they react to this. But it's ready to go. So this goes in the oven for 350 degrees for 15 or 20 minutes. I'll bet it's going to take longer, but we'll check it in 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, I took the loaf of bread out and let it cool. And there we have, ooh, that's still hot. And there we have a beautiful loaf of bread. Nice sound. It got to over 200 degrees internal, so it should be ready. And we're going to cut it real quick and see what it looks like. And so let's take a nice cutting. Oh, look at that. Look at this, just beautiful. Look at the soft and spongy. Look at that bounce. Oh, let's see what it tastes like. That's beautiful. I plan to have a sandwich tomorrow with this. There we have it. A loaf of milk bread. Easy to make. No effort. There's no need. It's a little handling of the batter, the dough, whatever. But really easy to make. You can make it, not a problem. If you don't have the right pan, a pan like that's fairly inexpensive, you could probably bake it in another kind of pan, similar shape or size. You just have to adjust the temperature. You probably don't have to adjust the temperature, you probably have to adjust the time. I had to adjust this one. This should have taken it said 15 to 20 minutes. It took 35 minutes for this to cook to this low. and that may be my oven, so you just need to watch it. And all you have to watch for is check the internal temperature in the center. Once it gets over 195, it's probably going to be done. Once you take it out and it cools, hear that sound? That's what bread sounds like when it's done. And you can also look, you push and it bounces. It's just perfect. So you need to try it, and I hope you will, and I hope you'll enjoy it. But this is sandwich bread. It will be a great loaf. If you have a pan that's taller, you can make a bigger loaf. I didn't use all the dough that I had. I took some of it out, took about a third of it out after I realized that this was going to be it was going to rise too high. So this rose just about right and became a loaf about the right size. Anyway, if you get a chance, you might want to try it. It's a simple recipe. I think you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give us a like. Thank you.